77. My name is Jackie. So today we're going to work through a fully seated yoga flow, a yoga flow to open out through the side body. And so feel free to sit on a chair or anything else that you have nearby. You might bring some blocks or books under your feet if you'd like a little bit more height. And just start by finding a comfortable seat. So feel free to sit a little further back on your chair, a little further forward, and really be curious what does feel supportive and strong through your body today. So we're going to have a focus, as I say, on lengthening and strengthening, an opportunity to create space, and maybe just thinking about becoming unstuck. So those sticky spots along the way that you might notice, a chance to bring awareness to how you're feeling through your body, particularly through the side body, through your torso, through your abdominal muscles, maybe through the back. And again, that idea of creating length, creating space, and you might even take those words of creating space, becoming unstuck, into other parts of your day, other parts of your life, and use the practice, the yoga practice, to maybe bring a little bit more awareness into things that might be happening in your everyday life. And so just begin again by just settling in to your seat that you've chosen to practice on today. And begin by crossing your left leg over the right. Now, if that isn't available for you, you can feel free to keep the legs uncrossed. So just notice how that feels. Notice if it feels safe and supportive. You might bring your hands to the side of your chair. You might prefer to keep your hands on your legs. Just be curious. Notice what does feel safe in your body, what feels supportive. And then once you've found your comfortable position, we're going to begin by reaching out with the right arm and see if you can float the palm upwards towards the ceiling. Beautiful. And then just notice that movement as you bring your arm up towards the ceiling. You might come a little bit past your midline, and then allowing the arm to come all the way back down. Beautiful, and just take another 2 to 3 of these at your own time. Beautiful, and once you've found your range of motion in this movement through the arm, start to imagine that you're holding something on your hand. And so you might think of it as a platter or a plate, and imagine that it's a little bit heavy, something on there, and you're noticing a little bit of activation through the arm muscles, maybe through the shoulder. You might notice your tummy, you might notice muscles on the side body, even in the back. Again, the other hand can be down on the chair, on your leg. Beautiful. And then, as you're ready, start to lift that heavy plate or platter up. Just a little bit this time, and then slowly lowering down. Imagine that you're trying to support that weight. Now, invitation is to work with your breath here. And so it might be an exhale as you lower. And it might be an inhale as you extend your arm upwards. And just try and keep the movement very, very steady. Doesn't have to be big. You might even encourage your exhale to be a little longer than your inhale as you slowly lower. Let's take another 1 or 2 of these. You might choose to look at your hand, or your gaze might be straight ahead. Beautiful. And the next time you inhale and bring your arm up, feel free to bring it right up this time. So it might be a little bit up, might be right up. You might even start to come across your midline. Again, you might choose to take your gaze up towards your hand. Again, just check in with your breath here and see if you can keep a sense of ease and smoothness through your breath. Maybe a couple more breath rounds here. And as you're ready, just extend that arm forward like you're reaching forward to grab something, and see if you can make a circle. And so the circle can be as big or as little as you like. Again, you might use that left hand to support, to hold on to the side of the chair. Just taking about 3 one way, and then see if you can change the direction of the circle. Beautiful. And again, you might be watching your hand the whole time or a little bit. And just notice how that affects your balance if you do choose to take your eye gaze up to your hand or your fingers. Beautiful. And then when it feels complete, just coming back to that held extension. Beautiful. You might take your gaze up to the hand if that's working for you. And then see if you can tilt your head down. So take your gaze down towards the mat or your left hand. Beautiful. And then let the inhale bring your gaze back up. And so again, working with your breath, if you're choosing to do that, and exhale as you bring your gaze down. And inhale as you bring your gaze back up. Again, just take another 1 or 2 rounds in your own pace. If you'd like to take more, you're always welcome. And then once you are complete, just coming back through center, lowering your arm down and bring your palms facing up on your lap. Just a moment to pause. If your legs were crossed, uncrossing them. Just notice the soles of your feet connected back to the ground or to your blocks. And just take a moment to take a pause here to notice any sensations in your body. You might notice differences from your right side of your body to your left side of your body. You might notice one side feels longer or more spacious, or maybe warmer, maybe freer. You might notice sensations elsewhere. You might notice your shoulders feel different. Maybe notice the height of your shoulders. Notice your elbows. Notice your palms, your hands, your fingers. And notice your whole body. As you're ready, again, if you are holding onto your chair, feel free to take that position again, or hands on your lap. You might adjust your seat by moving slightly forward back or slightly forward on your chair. Feel free to adjust the blocks if you're using them, or books. And again, you might choose to cross your right leg over the left, or you might prefer keeping the legs uncrossed. Notice what feels stable, and again, if you took the legs cross the other way and it doesn't feel right on this side, that's okay. Just take what works for you. It can be different on each side. And then we're going to extend the left arm up. Beautiful, palm facing up towards the ceiling. Again, just notice that length through the spine, like a lift through the crown of the head. Just notice that you feel supported, you feel secure here and safe. If not, just take any finer little adjustments. Beautiful, and then as you're ready, just starting that movement You're using your full extension here, so it might not be as far as mine. So working with your movement through the arm. Just notice how the second shoulder feels, how your arm feels, the fingers, the side body. You might notice your hips here. You might notice your legs. You might notice your tummy, your belly. Maybe a couple more on the side. Then if you choose to work coordinating with your breath, it might be an exhale as the arm lowers, and it might be an inhale as you bring that arm up and overhead. Notice a little bit more range of movement as you move through. A little bit more space maybe to take your arm a little bit further across your midline. Beautiful, and then as you're ready, just holding that plate or that platter in your hand, so palm facing up, and again just pretending that someone's put something heavy in your hand, so someone's popped something there and you're having to support it. So you might even feel the muscles in your arms starting to wake up. Nice, and then again, lifting up that heavy plate. And then lowering it very, very carefully and slowly down. Again, you might be taking this movement with your breath. So again, it might be an inhale as you rise up. And it might be an exhale as you lower down. See if you can keep that sense of resistance, so that imagining that there is something heavy on that plate. Again, you might take your gaze to your hand. Just notice how that feels, how it affects how you feel. If it doesn't feel secure or safe, just bring your gaze back through center. Beautiful, and then as you are ready, keep that resistance. We're going to bring that arm again up and overhead. And we're going to come into a hold here. So you might have a little bit more lift up and over. Beautiful. And feel free to keep the arm as bent as you like. You might work it towards straight. Beautiful. You might try bringing a hand to the lap if you were holding down to the chair, or vice versa, you might switch over. Beautiful. Feel free to keep the gaze straight ahead or even down. Or you might bring the gaze up towards your hand. Okay, just notice what happens to your breath here if once you bring your body into a more challenging position. Just notice how that affects your breath. And see if you can keep a steady breath, and if it's available to you, breathing in through your nose and out through your nose. Couple more breaths here. Always soften the arm. Or you can always bring the gaze down. Really nice. And again, we're going to take those movements like circling motion. So reaching forward, circling and circling back and around. So really just making your circle. And you might notice that it feels quite different on the second side. That's okay. Quite normal. Beautiful. And once you've taken your 3 or 4 on one direction, take it the other way, like you're unwinding all those sticky, sort of stuck places in your body. You might notice interesting little places as you take this movement through the side body perhaps, or in your back. The shoulder, the arm, maybe the neck. Beautiful. And again, feel free to take that hold. Readjust your seat if you need to. And you can always uncross the legs as well. Beautiful. And then maybe holding for another 2 to 3 breaths. And then again, we're going to just work with some movement through the head and the neck. And so again, your gaze might be up towards your hand, and then tipping your head. It's like you're bringing your chin towards your shoulder, so gaze coming down towards your hand or towards the floor. And tilting the head back up. Beautiful. Again, you might tilt down on your exhale. And then you might take the gaze back up on your inhale. You might be moving slower than me or faster. And we're just taking another 1 or 2 rounds depending on your speed. Really nice. And then very, very slowly, you might even watch that hand as it lowers down. And crossing your legs if you have them crossed. Again, palms facing up. You might even look down at your hands. Notice any differences that you can see. You might notice one palm looks pinker than the other. You might notice even one hand looks bigger than the other. Just be curious. And then see if you can tune in with any sensations through your hands, through your fingers. Maybe tingling, maybe energy, maybe warmth. Notice your arms, one arm, the other arm. Again, one elbow and the other elbow. One shoulder, the other shoulder. You might check in with your breath here. Again, if it's available to you, breathing in through your nose and out through your nose. You might again encourage your exhale to be a little longer than your inhale. And then on your next inhale, we're going to work with some symmetrical movement, just to bring that all together, floating both arms up and overhead. And then as you reach the top of your breath, a little pause, almost like a hover. And then exhaling down, bring the arms down, and see if you can allow the hands to arrive down to your lap or your chair at the same time. Just notice. Maybe a little pause before you take your next inhale. Again, you might pause with that little hover before you float hands down on your exhale. Again, just take another 2 to 3 of these in your own time. You might choose to close your eyes down. If it doesn't work for you, just keep the eyes open. Keep a soft gaze. And again, if this movement is really resonating with you today, feel free to keep with this movement. You might even pause the video. Otherwise, we're going to transition into stillness. If you're not ready for stillness yet, just keep with this gentle meditative movement with the arms, with the breath. Otherwise, just allow the arms to float down. Again, you might have palms facing up or down this time. You might change position in your seat. You might move a little further back. You might lean back in your chair. Just take whatever you need. You might bring a blanket over your legs. Maybe bring a cushion. Grab a nice warm drink. And really be fussy here. Find a comfortable position. If you prefer to lay down, take that option. So finding a position to take your Shavasana, a time to integrate your practice into mind and body. Just take the time to scan through your body and notice any differences, perhaps from when you began your practice till now. Notice your mind. You might notice your mind feels lighter, freer. And then scan through your body from the crown of your head, the very top. Notice your forehead smooth, soft, cheeks soft. Notice your jaw, your teeth, your tongue. Notice your eyes soft. You might even choose to close your eyes down here. Shoulders surrendering to the earth. Elbows surrendering. Softness through your belly, your chest. Feet grounded, heavy. And we'll stay here in our Shavasana for another minute. And as you're ready, just blinking eyes open if they were closed. Might wriggle out your toes, might wriggle out your fingers, roll out your ankles, your wrists. Waking yourself up. Take a big breath in, take a stretch. Bring hands to your heart center. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. Have a wonderful rest of your day, rest of your evening. Go well. Namaste.